funny on Reddit. The influence from content creators has made Smite 2 worse. Alright, let's see. Have you updated it? Yeah. First off, I'm loving Smite 2. Pretty much everything feels and plays better, except for some changes that seem to have been made for content creators slash SPL players, so let's get to it. In the last few years of Smite 1, SPL players and content creators have been advocating for changes that would allow players with greater skill to showcase their abilities. From what I can tell, much of this stemmed from complaints about losing kills due to beads and Aegis, where ultimates land but are ineffective because relics are used. There have also been frustrations with wards revealing enemies' positions before ganks can be executed. Okay, so first of all, backliners want to have beads and Aegis. So the SPL has not been advocating for one relic. They've just been advocating for one relic in Smite 2 because there are active items that are purchasable. So that, first of all, that's not true. Second of all, I don't know any SPL person that's complaining about wards. As a result, successful ganks rely on players being out of position, and even then, those players might escape with their relics up. These frustrations led to a push to remove wards and relics altogether. Absolutely 100% untrue. Just blatantly wrong. SPL players do not rely on people being out of position because it's rare that SPL players are out of position. So this is just so far completely wrong. All right, anyway. Now on to Smite 2. Initially, this push was resulted in players giving only 30-second ward. Later, this evolved into the current system of 2-minute wards that can be purchased. Additionally, players now have access to only one relic. No, the reason for this and the reason that there was something being tested, which is why it got changed, was not because content creators. It's because there was an end game part of Smite 1 that was just having the entire Fire Giant side of the jungle warded endlessly, so everybody always had vision, and it was just a boring Fire Giant dance for 30 minutes. No, wards are not removed. No, this person so far is just 100% wrong. No, nobody in the ambassador. So I'm speaking to this from somebody who is not an SPL player, so I don't benefit from SPL balance. And I've been in the Ambassador Discord throughout the entire development of Smite 2, so I can tell you whether this is true or not. Nobody has ever advocated for no wards. They high res started off with 60-second wards. It wasn't 30-second wards. It was where they had one ward at the beginning of the game. You got free wards, but it lasted less long. So you couldn't just have everything warded. I remember that. But no, they were giving free wards, so this doesn't make sense either. This has led to more skill-based gameplay for content creators? No. You can watch complaint video about the creators like WEAK3N and others, where they suggest further changes in an attempt to fix the very problems they helped create. No, creators didn't create any of these problems. Hi-Rez was testing, since this is an alpha, different options of like giving people free wards, similar to how like League does. I don't actually know if League gives free wards. Actually, do you get free wards? Like one free ward in League? I don't remember. Either way, they were testing stuff. They were testing like, what if we give beads and a free ward? Everyone has beads. Yeah, free wards. Okay, so they like, what if everybody has beads and everybody has free wards? And we are like, yeah, everyone having beads is kind of lame. Then they changed it, and then anyway. So far, no disrespect to this guy. He's allowed to have his own perception about the way things are, but no pros ever advocated for less wards or beads and Aegis. Actually, there are quite a few competitive players who are advocating for 2 relics. I am not. Yeah, it's back up. All right, Legacy, I appreciate you. There are actually a lot of competitive players who are advocating for more than 1 relic. I am not. I don't. It's not because it's unrewarding to hit an ability and somebody Aegises. It's because it makes minute time frames where nothing's happening because everyone's able to play safe. Issues with the current state of Smite 2. The removal of vision has eliminated the mid game. Okay, so the removal of vision. There has been no removal of vision. People probably just aren't buying wards in your games. I am a culprit of not buying wards right now, mostly because I just don't care. Because I'm just vibing. We're just chilling, right? If Nika doesn't ward, Chris doesn't ward, right? Without adequate vision, there's no longer meaningful laning phase after the early game instead of creating opportunities for skilled players to execute ganks. Ganks don't really... No. Okay. Ganks don't happen post-laning phase, really. I mean, like, they do, but ganks are realistically ganking a lane that's in laning phase. Ganks don't really happen in the same way middle game anyway, and it's not because of a lack of vision. Lack of vision is just because of wards, and wards are like, what, 2 minutes right now for vision? The lack of vision had discouraged individual play entirely. No. You'll actually hear a lot of different things depending on what skill level you're playing in. Is some people say everyone's kind of running off on their own if it's low level, and then if you're like in higher level lobbies. So if you're playing in the morning, you might run into a bunch of individual players playing in a bunch of individual ways. If you're playing with a higher player base, everybody is group team fighting at 14 minutes. This just isn't true again. By mid game, no one does anything alone anymore. Wait. Nobody should be doing anything alone in mid game. The result is where everyone moves in small groups or 5-man squads. That is literally how the game is intended to play. Any player flushing nuts or roam solo is quickly 4-man ganked. Okay. I think I'm recognizing this player's probably relatively low skill. Not low skill, like low rank. If no. First of all, if you're roaming by yourself in solo lane, mid-game, past laning phase, and 4 people rotate on you, you're losing gold. So, no. If I don't know why you would 4-man rotate. No. Any player flushing? No. Okay, so like, no. This isn't a meta. Okay, well, first of all, that's not a sentence. Meta stands for most effective tactic available. Every single strategy in the game is a subjective meta to somebody. If traveling in a group is a meta in that gameplay, if letting people travel in a group and taking objectives while they do that, it depends on what's working and what's not. It's really enforced by the absence of vision. There is no absence of vision. You're just not buying wards. Wards are not 30 seconds. I'm pretty sure wards right now are 120 seconds. And you can buy 2. Didn't know that's what meta is? Yeah. Most effective tactic available. And metas always shift. Metas can change game to game depending on who's in it, right? Metas are meant to be broken and changed all the time, right? Oh, the meta is this build, and then somebody tries a new build. Okay, well, that's not the meta anymore. And now we're seeing yet more suggestions how to fix the game when the solution is glaringly obvious. Perfect. Thank you. Solution. Bring back 3-minute wards. No. They're at 2 minutes right now, I'm pretty sure. Can somebody... Oh my god, he's going to... Is wards in here? Wards aren't in here. All the items are in here, just not wards on for it. Aren't wards 120 seconds right now? They're definitely not 60 seconds. 3-minute wards, it's dumb. Stop listening to content creators primarily take suggestions based on how they can secure more kills for themselves. Nobody is saying have lower ward times so it's easier to get kills. No high-level players are relying on wards in terms of like, hey, I can get this guy out of position in laning fit. Like, this just doesn't make sense. You want vision, like when you're talking about vision, you're getting vision around objectives late game so that way you can properly assess and make the correct play, not because you want to be able to get an easy kill. What's up, patient? Nobody enjoys being repeatedly destroyed due to lack of vision. There's nothing wrong with vision. I'm fairly sure right now, if somebody's in the game, tell me how long wards last, because I think it's 120 seconds. It was 60, and then it was 3 minutes, and then they moved it down to 2 minutes, I'm fairly sure. Let me in. Hey, thanks. Hey, thanks. Show me. Show me. Aren't wards 120 seconds? They were 60 seconds, then they were 3 minutes, and then I think they moved them to 120. You have 2 minutes of vision, and you can buy sentries and regular wards. If you are advocating for 3-minute wards because that additional minute, 120 seconds. Sorry, you guys can't read it. Place a ward that reveals an enemy within a 10.4 meter area. Lasts for 120 seconds or till killed. And then same thing for sentry ward, 120 seconds. So you're talking about 2 full minutes Bring back 3-minute wards. No content creators saying we need 3-minute wards. Nobody's saying, or sorry, no content creators saying we need less wards. No content creators or pros are saying we need 60-second wards. Nobody is saying this. You're wrong. Nobody. Nope. The absence of adequate warding has pushed the grouping phase to begin far too early. This isn't true. What is causing people to group too early is because objectives are too easy to kill. We can all group up and grab a Gold Fury in like 6 seconds. We can do fire at 15 minutes pretty easily, pretty quickly. The grouping factor starts when objective play starts. There is no reason to be grouping other than for objectives. If you're talking at like, what would mid game be right now? Maybe 12 minutes. Maybe 10 to 12 minutes. People are grouping because objectives are very easy to kill. You're going to see grouping at 7 minutes because Gold Furies are very easy to kill. They're not grouping too early because an absence of adequate warding. That's illogical. Disrupting natural flow of the game. This is why Smite 2 matches often feel off. No, Smite 2 matches often feel off because there's not enough grouping of similar skill level players. The pool used to be if you would play Smite ranked all day, if you were GM or Masters, you'd be playing with 8 or 9 GM Masters, and then you might have a Diamond or Platinum player sprinkled in. Right now, the players that used to be Plat are probably up in GM because there's not enough GMs. So every pool of players is lower than it was, which means every pool of players has lower level players in it than you're used to playing with at all ranks. Silvers aren't used to, well, maybe Silver is a little bit too close, but the Smite 2 matches feel off because you don't have a consistent group of players who know what they're doing. That's it. And know how to play. And that's literally it. The one relic system is okay, but consider CC overload while having one relic is manageable. The sheer amount of crowd control in Smite continues to grow with the addition of new gods. I mean, technically, the addition of new gods is just Mordred and Hecate, and outside of Hecate's ult and Mordred's ult, which are CC in themselves, but they're just a single ability. Technically, if you're talking about a warrior, Mordred actually kind of lacks CC. That's probably his biggest issue, and why he struggles in a lot of portions of the later stages of the game that aren't 1v1s and 1v2s even. He lacks CC, and more and Hecate as well, compared to other mages, also lacks CC. So the addition of new gods in Smite 2 is not what this issue is with CC. The issue with CC is the changes to diminishing returns, and one relic could argue that, you know, like CC, but like also at the same time there is beads active from you know, you don't get Ares ulted anymore off cooldown, right? You never get Ares ulted because of displacement immunity and whatnot. If something isn't done, 2 relics will likely need to return. I still don't think so. One potential fix could make player CC for immune 1 second after being hit by the first. Ew. No. And there's going to be a lot of people in here saying this makes a lot of sense. Oh, masked. Is blaming content creators here just massive cope, or am I out of the loop? As far as I'm aware, these changes have nothing to do with weekend or inbound. When the Smite 2 Alpha came out, before 20, wards were basically non-existent, but that was because they were both super early access. The one relic is Hyra's attempted not to overload active keybinds for PC and console players, with the new active items taking up potentially 3 new keybinds. I would prefer Smite get 2 relics back, but I think Blink and Beads and Aegis are necessary staples, considering every god is getting ported in there the same state as in Smite 1. It's something so important to have Aegis versus Kraken or Beads versus Fenrir's all that it feels really bad to only have one relic taken away by a long time that one ability. But I have to say your final suggestion is legitimately awful. It's just an insanely scuffed version of diminishing returns. The slow from no. This is I don't genuinely like to talk about somebody's subjective take and just say it's just fully wrong, but this is just fully wrong. There is nothing in here that is based in any logic or any fact. I don't even know where to assess, like, well, maybe. What's up, Staring? Like, high caliber players are not complaining about Beads and Aegis at this stage right now because it drops them kills. It more so just removes time from the game. Like, oh, I can't fight right now because I just dropped my kit. He has Beads and Aegis. Now we just have to sit here and wait. And now he's going to play very safe until he gets his actives back up. I do kind of agree with what Mass said, where, like, certain kits make the game feel really bad. But I think the solution to that is not 2 actives. or sorry, 2 relics. I think the solution to that is backliners are going to have to start accepting that they might have to grab an active item and sacrifice some power slash cooldown slash pen in their build in order to provide themselves safety from certain key abilities. So if there was a Fenrir and a Poseidon in your game, and you're thinking I need beads and Aegis, beads for Fenrir and Kraken, or and Aegis for Kraken, maybe you need to start grabbing a defensive relic to save your, or I mean, sorry, not defensive relic, a defensive active to save yourself, and maybe they need to incorporate more of those in. I don't think the solution is just to give people free beads and free Aegis that you get at level 1 and level 12. I don't think that's the solution at all. I think that dumbs down the game. I think people just need to start accepting the fact that you might not be able to get 6 full items if you're going to need something for survivability. Or you can go the route of glass cannon without the active and do a little bit less damage than their mid, but you're not going to have multiple ways to save yourself. This is just this is just blatantly wrong. We have 2-minute wards. So there's, unless he's playing in games without vision, he might be playing in super low level games. This just isn't true whatsoever. Nobody advocated for this. Nobody advocated for, the only thing that people truly advocated for was everybody having beads didn't feel fun. Okay? Everybody having beads didn't feel fun. 60-second wards, I'm pretty sure was unanimously like, that's like not long enough. So him saying people wanted that, we didn't. Hi-Rez just came out with free wards that lasted like 60 seconds. And then when they actually made paid wards where you actually could buy a sentry instead of upgrade your free ward, right, to sentries, that means you could put 2 wards out. And then they put them at 3 minutes, and we said that's kind of too long. Right? That 3 minutes kind of feels too long for wards if you're spending gold. Right? Because it should be an investment and a payoff. It should be an investment and payoff for wards, and depending on where you ward, especially since Gold Fury is so much more important than it was in Smite 1. Like, you know, sometimes if they get fire, getting an Ancient Fury is just as good, arguably. Depends on which version of the Fire Giant of Smite 2. But no pros were advocating for less wards. No pros are advocating for well, not no. The active thing, that's almost split. But there is not a unanimous group of pros that say they only want 1 relic. I'm one of those people. I know plenty of pros or high level comp players that want both relics back. I don't. I would rather have you have to limit your build and sacrifice something for that. So, this entire paragraph of about Vision being eliminated is wrong because Vision has not been eliminated, and then this breakdown of why people want Vision eliminated or what's that led to, this is just all not true. Unless this is happening in like bronze or silver games or like early casual games, I don't know. 3-minute words, no reason to it. When he says stop listening to content creators, I say stop listening to kids on Reddit because this makes no sense. Okay. 1 relic system is okay, but okay, this is just stupid. That sounds disrespectful. It's no, I mean, sorry, it's a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea. This would ruin the game. CC immunity for 1 second following any CC you have would genuinely be some of the worst Smite you could ever play. Yeah, man. The influence from content creators has made Smite 2 worse. The influence from content creators is the only thing that has made... First off, I'm loving Smite 2. Great. I just want to let you know that content creators have been spending hundreds of hours with the devs throughout this entire year, so everything you're saying you love about Smite 2 has came from the devs with hundreds of hours of feedback from the content creators. And you've only managed to bring 2 specific things into here that you think the content creators have ruined, and that it's not even true. So the things that you're saying you're loving about Smite 2 has came from hundreds of hours of feedback from content creators playing in flash tests since January and giving feedback over the summer and getting the game to the state where you say pretty much everything plays and feels better. Who do you think gave that feedback compared to when it was in its early stages? Who do you think provided the feedback for you to even have the ability to say you're loving Smite 2, everything feels and plays better? Now, don't get me wrong, the devs have cooked, but there's been hundreds of hours of playtests done from behind the scenes by these content creators that you're saying are making the game worse. So not only is this entire thing wrong, it's all contradictory. The only reason that Smite 2 is what it is now is because of the feedback the devs have gotten from content creators. And yes, some feedback from Reddit maybe, but most of it is from content creators because most people go to the content creators to get their feedback simplified from people who play the game every day, not somebody who gets on for 3 games after work and plays in a couple silver games, right? Because this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen in a bulk of games. And it's this is why I've said you never balance a game or develop a game around casual player base because in no disrespectful way, even though it's going to come off as disrespectful, if they were to balance the game around this idea, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. So, sorry, brother. That is just all wrong. The community is pretty split. The community is pretty split when it comes to the relic system. I actually kind of want to make that into a video.